E-waste is made up of used electric and electronic devices, and it's becoming a global headache. The UN, the United Nations, says the world generates 49 metric tons of e-waste in 2012, or roughly 7 kilograms for each person on Earth. That number is expected to explode and rise nearly 30% in 33 years. And the worst e-waste offender is the U.S., with each American producing nearly 30 kilograms in 2012. China ranks second in terms of total volume, roughly 5.4 kilos per person in China. While the Chinese generate less e-waste on average, it's still a big problem. To protect the environment, the government's cracking down on illegal imports of e-waste. Some believe this could push forward sustainable recycling. Yakenda McGahee reports.
Whether you call it waste, rubbish, trash, or simply scrap, the reality is the world is sinking under a pile of it. And the fastest growing offender, according to the United Nations, is e-waste, also known as electronic trash.
This electronic waste can also impose huge impacts on, water, and some of them have lead and hazardous materials. Yeah.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency estimates a quarter of America's e-waste is recycled. And according to the Institute of Scrap Recycling Industries, a U.S. nonprofit trade association, about 40% of U.S. scrap is exported to China.
Our recyclables and a lot of our electronics, they actually go to a small city in China where they're not actually recycled here.
And customs officials claim those recyclables are often poorly sorted, contaminated, even hazardous, creating an environmental issue in an entirely different country.
A lot of times they may say that, our demand is fueling those like CO2 emissions.
In China, and now China's cracking down on scrap, launching Operation Green Fence in an effort to curb solid waste contamination the country imports and strengthen its environmental standards. And now e-waste recyclers are scrambling to clean up their scrap, ship it elsewhere, or risk losing their import licenses altogether. That's because the Chinese market for poorly sorted and contaminated recycled e-waste is now closed for business. American-based e-waste recycler Rixey Group isn't concerned about the economic impact of the stricter regulations, since China has long banned contamination, but it was rarely enforced until now.
Actually, in China, there's nothing changed from this year to last year. What exactly changed? The people execute the more strictly right now.
Xi Wang says other scrap traders wouldn't be so concerned either if, like his company, they'd simply obeyed the law in the first place.
I have the R2 certification. R2, that means responsible recycler.
The question now is, could this Chinese crackdown spur a new sustainable recycling movement in the West, where garbage and scrap made in America is also reused, recycled, or reconditioned here, too? Yakenda McGahee, CCTV, Los Angeles.